Yep, well, hello again, everybody. I'm going to turn this way so I can jib-jab a little bit. This is my attempt to make a bunch of little videos and see if I can edit them together. That's going to be a paramount undertaking of its own, but we'll see how that all plays out. I'm getting ready. I got to pull the gauges, headlight assembly and stuff like that off of this thing. I want to get it to be a rolling frame, basically, and so I can get it ready for paint. I think the triple trees will come out, all that stuff. But this video is going to be, I think, getting the headlight assembly out of here, the gauges off, and you can follow along as I go. And let's see here. I wish I was able to zoom in. I don't know how I can do that. Let's see, does it allow you? It does not. So, okay. Maybe I bring it a little bit closer. I don't know, but anyway, I'll just have to let it run and go from there. So, let's see if we can get what we can get up inside there. Bear with me. This might work. I believe it's a 10 millimeter. And this is the speedo drive. Get that off of there before it gets in my way and I can't do anything about it. I'll pull that down through here. Leave that on the bike for the time being. Somewhere up in here there's a 10 mil, and see if I can find it right there. This will be a pretty long process restoring this bike. It's pretty rough. I think it's actually probably, well, the CL350, my 72 CL350 sat in a metal shed for a good amount of its life, so you can imagine what it looked like because it was all moisture and that thing was rough, but it really came out good. So sometimes I'm really surprised that you're able to bring, you're gonna bring things back, but you can still see some little bit pitting and stuff like that in the chrome. I don't have the budget to be able to send things down to get them re-chromed. It is what it is. But all you can really see is little mini dimples once I remove the rust. And I'll use a Vapo rust or Brillo pads, buffing my ass off, and that's pretty much what I got to do in order to get those off, get that stuff off. But so you never know. Alright, let's see if I can find this other one. It's buried up in there somewhere. Come on, where'd you go? Right there. There's two 10 millimeters nuts hold these things on here. And they sit in rubber boots, rubber mount, so they can do this and not have for vibration. But I got to get all this stuff out of the way. Like I say, the triple trees are all rusty and shitty, so they got to be addressed. No getting around that. Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm saying sorry. That was my leg I hit. Okay, let's see what we got here. What else we got holding? Oh, I see. They're just stuck in their little respective. Okay, let's see here. So, by the looks of things, I'm going to have to open up the. Oh, can't forget these. They have. I'll show you these rubber mounts. If I can get them out of there. find it. They have these little rubber cones that sandwich together, and of course then it bolts together. It'll basically be like this, top and bottom, and that's what holds it in. With this is the bolt, but I'm going to have to open up the headlight to get at the connectors. I dropped the washer somewhere, but I guess I'll find that eventually. It wasn't on the bottom, but it's okay. Let's see here. This is, if memories serve me right, we should have one Phillips head screw, which we do right there. Every one of the bikes from this era, 70s, 80s, even 90s, they're all the same. Everything goes into the headlight. It's kind of a place where they put all of the wiring in and connect it all together. Well, I'm wrong. That is the adjuster. I gotta find the other screw. Right here, Russell. I looked, but I did not see. They're none so blind. So I was messing with the adjuster is what I was doing. And usually there's two on this one. Usually there's only one, and it'll come out with a little tab. But the like I mentioned earlier video, I downloaded the iMovie program, and I got to battle with that tonight. See if I can figure that all out. And I'm dumb as a rock, so that usually doesn't pan off too good. Just a nice plug. These are a sealed beam, so there's no changing bulbs. You have to buy a complete replacement if it doesn't work. That one does work, so that's always good. All right. So this one here goes to the gauges, and they are proprietary, so they can only plug into that plug. There's no screwing them up. And that one goes to yellow black. Let's see here. So you can't screw those up. Those are color coordinated also. And I'm going to put a little, that one goes black to blue, so I'm going to put a little reminding piece of tape on there. And if I can find my little, up right here. Woo! Not as stupid as I thought. These are pretty cool. These are designed for electricians. It's just rolls of 1 through 9, and so you can, put a 1 on each end of the wire, and so that's where they go, and you can keep going and going and going. It's 19 or 119, whatever it may be. It just gives you something to follow along, and they're sticky back. So I'm out of number 1s, so we will go to number 2s. And see if these are old, very old, so we'll see if they'll even pull out of there. Yep, I got it started, so that's always good. These are replaceable. You can go to an electrician store, or whatever you want to call electrical supply, and get replacements. So I know this is very interesting. So we'll wrap a number 2 around this one, and a number 2 around the other one, and that way my old brain will not forget and babble when I go to put this thing back together. The wiring is very simple on these things, but why why add to your aggravation if you don't have to be aggravated? And as mentioned before, I'm old and stupid, so okay. So there we go. Oh, well, we got one more. That was all cocky. Like I say, these are proprietary, which means they only can plug into one connector. They're shaped differently, so there's no one there. And right here for the cauliflower ear. Okay, so there we go. The gauges are in beautiful shape. A couple little dingers here and there, but I'll be able to touch that up. I don't know if the internal lighting works, so you can replace the bulbs, that kind of stuff. But as you can see, they can only plug into a certain shape. So that's always nice. Okay, so that's out of there. And let's see here. I'm not sure if I want to take this whole bee's nest. Let's see, that's the ignition, so that has to come out of there. No, she's in there. I know they've been together for, I don't know, 40 some odd years. So you can tell this one's taking some heat. She's in there. Let me get a pair of pliers, maybe I can use it as a holder. I don't want to put too much pressure on it because these are pretty brittle. There it goes, right there. So that will be the ignition, and there should be one ground, which is right there. And some of these, I think this does have tamper-proof bolts. Oh, nice. This one has 10 millimeter. Well, the newer stuff has a tamper-proof thing there, so you can't just get at the ignition easily. So I'm going to put my stuff and see if I can get up inside there. Easier said than done sometimes. Well, I'm going to leave that on there, and actually I'll pull the handlebars off and I'll pull the top triple tree and get that off like that. Looks not hard. And all right, 13 maybe? It's either 13 or 12. 13. And I'll have to replace these bolts. The chrome is rusted right off them, but I can source those. And actually, before I even do that, I'm going to take these off of here. These little cable holders, even though they're pretty beat up, they're original, so I want them back on the bike. But they have been on here, like I said, for 42 years, if my math is right, 77, I don't know. My math skills are not too snappy. That takes care of that. I got to get this control off of here. Actually, I don't. I can just take it like this. So I'm not as smart as I thought I was. You'll get to know that about me. I'm a crusty old bastard that sometimes thinks he knows more than he does. And there'll be stuff I'll talk about sometimes that may be incorrect, and some of you guys, I'm sure, know more, and you can correct me. You know, I'm not so proud that I'm not willing to learn. Something I'm thinking about that's wrong, or a better way to do it. You know, there's a lot of people out there been doing this maybe longer than I have. Probably not, because they'd be in the ground. Or have a better way of doing it. You know, it's that simple. I came across this. I wanted to show you the other day. Find it. Maybe I can't. I don't know what I did with it. But it was a replacement control for the throttle assembly. The odds of me having a period correct Kawasaki throttle control with the kill switch and all that stuff identical, which was on this thing, is astronomical. But this one here was, I mean, destroyed. So I just happened to come across it looking for something else. So yeah, I got that going for me. I got to figure a way to secure this motorcycle so when I take the front wheel off, I guess I'm going to have to do some tie downs. So if you bear with me, this is how I do things. Let's see, this should work. Should. So you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just going to put a couple of tie downs to hold the back of the bike down so that when I pull the front end off, things won't fall, but you know, like I said, I ain't the smartest guy in the world, so this might not work. We'll find out. I'll have to figure a different, when I'm ready to get the rear tire off of there, I'll have to do something with setting it up, but that worked. So now, of course, the front tire's got to come off, front fender's got to come off, strip all of that stuff. Let's see here. Okay, I'm going to pull this off of the wheel, the cauliflower wheel. The cauliflower ear thing that I've done a few times on my videos because my brain works in mysterious ways. When I was a little kid, I watched Three Stooges. And one of Curly's thing was a cauliflower ear, and it stuck in my head. And that's where that comes from. And of course, my mother hated the Three Stooges, and it would still to this day get so mad when I talk about them. She'd grab me because I was being bad, and I would run in place like woo 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 woo, like a moron, and it would just fry her ass. It was fantastic. Sorry, Mom. Still makes me laugh. So, all right. Because I can't bend down. I'm going to try to stay somewhat in frame. There we go. I got to get this out of there. And you never know taking the wheels off a motorcycle, especially of this era. These axles have been inside these rims for a long time, so sometimes they build up a little grease dam, if you want to call it. So you try to knock them out of there, and they fight you, but some of them just slide out of it. So one never knows. First try. Ain't I something? Just ask me, I'll tell you. Wow, that was loose. I gotta turn that with my hand. So somebody's been messing around with this. Still need my rubber mallet. Does this have a pinch bolt? It does. So those are 12 millimeter, I believe. Either 12 or 13. I always have a hard time with those two. Do not have a 12 over here. Russell. Oh, that's wide. I never took it down yesterday. I'm pretty sure it's a. No, it is a 12. I was right. No, I was wrong. 13. Just loosen this so that I can knock it through. I'm not going to take the cap off because it's not a captured end. All right, rubber mallet, rubber biscuit. Look at that, nice and easy, Japanese. Okay. Okay, so my brake, I can get the wheel off without taking the caliper off, which is good because that bad boy is frozen on there. I lost my, nope, I didn't. There we go, but I'm going to be smart because there's a couple of spacers on there. And if I'm being too medial, or I don't know if that's the right word, beginner's thing, then my apologies, but I don't know, talking to folks out there, if they know this stuff already or not, and just enjoy watching this stuff, or you know, or they may be learning something. I mean, I learned by doing. I never was taught how to work on motorcycles. I just was fortunate to be mechanically inclined. And that's how I learned it. Okay. Bring this up a little bit because my camera work is so frickin' good. I'm so professional. Okay, wash the claws. I think I mentioned in an earlier video, I've broken my hands. I had a crash on the racetrack and had a compound fracture of 2 bones here. So there's a plate and a plate in here, which they didn't do a good job. You can see there's a big mound. They actually broke in half. This finger is bent because I got Dupuytren's contracture, which is odd thing that the fascia underneath grows this stuff, I don't know what they call it, but it slowly closes your hands. I had this hand operated, both of these hands operated on so I could open my hand, but this one wasn't affected at the time. So of course I got claws. My hands are pretty pretty beat up. So my friends and all their grandeur call me Santa Claus. That's because in the wintertime I grow my beard, and what used to be bright red, like Rusty Jones or some Irish guy or something, is as white as the driven snow. So of course, in the wintertime when I have my beard, I am called Santa Claus. Rat bastard. I am, I can dish it out as well as I give it. So I am fortunate enough to have a great group of friends that all met through motorcycling. I met a buddy of mine, John and Todd, at the track at Loudon over here. We used to road race, and we got our road racing license together down there. And I was on a friend of mine, Jim, who I had met back in, it was either 86 or 87. I was riding my 86 GSXR 1100 with a bunch of my crazy friends. And he saw us get on an on-ramp or something. He chased us down on a little, I think it was an 85 600 Ninja. And he chased us down and, "Hi, I'm Jim. Can I ride with you guys?" I was like, "Hey, yeah, if you can keep up, have at it." Oh, look at this. And to his credit, he rolled the wheels off that little bastard. Of course, we're on like an 1100s, and they were worked. We had, our motors were built to full superbike specs. So they were the apex predators out there at the time. And he chased us, and twice I looked in my mirror. It looked like a little movie screen. I watched him fade in a corner, go down off the road into the willy wax, and I thought he was down. I was getting ready to lift, and also he came up out of the weeds with the lower fairings stuffed full of cattails and mud, and back on the road and right back on the throttle, man. And I'd look in my mirror again, and he was being a full tank slapper, and it was just amazing. But to his credit, man, he hung it out and stuck with us. And we have a saying: "Many are chosen, but few can answer the call." A little full of ourselves. And because many guys wanted to ride with us back in the day, we were fast. There's no question about it. We were fast. And people would do a half a day with us and then say, "Screw this," and they would go home. Or they were just riding so far over their heads that they were going to die, so we would tell them, "Sorry, guy, you can't ride with us." But Jim did. He stuck with it. And my buddy John and Todd are phenomenal riders. Had some phenomenal battles at Loudon, Daytona, Mid-Ohio with those guys. And we still ride together today. Unfortunately, my buddy Jim, who is one of my oldest friends, and guitar player companion, moved to West Virginia, so he's out of the picture. And my buddy John and Todd live in Maine, so we get together. We ride. You saw my 790 and my 1190, so we do adventure bikes now, and used to dirt bike together all the time, and obviously road race. So we still see each other quite a bit, and I'm very fortunate for that, because couldn't ask for better friends. So yeah, it's just some pretty good history. It's funny how you meet people, but being in the motorcycle game, all of my friends, all of them are motorcycle related at some point. All the guys I worked with at Freedom Cycle were friends of mine before I started working there. I was doing data installation, and then I was managing a spring water company. Yeah, you surround yourself with people that have similar interests. I think that's common throughout, most people. But so yeah, that's pretty cool, and we're, like I say, very fortunate to have a lot of people. If they can count on one hand how many close friends they have, they're very fortunate. I'm very fortunate to have those 4 or 5 core people that I've known for forever, and then just a lot of other good friends, because you never burn your bridges. Treat people the way you want to be treated. So okay, so 10mm down here. I know I'm babbling, but that is what I do. So the sad part is, even when I'm in here by myself, I'm babbling. I'll talk to myself, yell at myself. I'm my own worst critic when it comes to doing shit, playing guitar, whatever it may be. I've been playing for 50 years, and I guess for somebody that doesn't play, people always tell me I'm a very gifted guitar player, but to somebody that does play, I make a shitload of mistakes. Ready? Nice. Yeah, it is what it is. I got the brake stay on there, but I lost my train of thought what I was talking about. But yeah, it's we're all, like I say, we're all our own worst critics, and it's just a reality of the human condition, I guess you would say. All right, let's see if we can get this out of here. We're gonna push this up. Yep, I need a little helper. Yeah, it should help you here. All right. I don't want to stab myself in the hand, which I've done many times before. I'm sure anybody that works on cars or motorcycles have done it also. There we go. Now for release. And don't lose that, because that is hard to replace. I'll put that in here with all my rubber bits. So this fender, I mean, it's amazingly good shape underneath and stuff, but the only downside, it's got a couple of dents here. He had a bow light from a boat mounted on here. Had the green and red side. Pretty funny. But of course he drilled some holes, but it dented the tank. So I'll use a little hammer and a dolly and get it flattened out. And I can't fill the hole, so what I'll do is I have a little box of little black plugs, and that's what I'll do. I don't have the funds to replace the fender, nor do I want to, because it's original to the motorcycle. So, okay, so all I have to do now is get this caliper off of here, loosen the 2 triple trees, get the forks out of here. These will take a lot of work. Both fork seals are blown. You can see it's just dripping with oil. And so those I'll do them anyway, because even if they're not dripping or weeping. Oh, brake pad fell out of that. 2 brake pads. Well, well, one's really good. This is the piston side, and the other one's the non-piston side. It always wears fast. So in reality, you can flip these because of how they wear. And that's probably what I'll end up doing, because these were this one's perfectly fine, and I'd say 80% of the braking is on the piston side. So okay, that looks like a 14, I would say. 14. It is. I'm just so smart. I had to take this caliper off at the guy's house when I was buying the bike, because it's frozen. But it took it took some considerable work. He had no tools, and shame on me for not bringing a little box, because I've run into stuff before. Come on off of that. So trying to beat this off of the rotor with you know, no tools at hand was fun. So I just mounted it back on here. Actually, this one here I just spun up and put the bolts back where you got them. Okay, so we've got a 13 and a 13 maybe? 12. Alright, we got a lower. Now look at that, 12 top, 13 low. And all you got to do is loosen these. They don't, and it's very important, especially on these older bikes, to use a torque wrench when putting tightening the trees back on there, because they have a tendency to crack right here if you over tighten them. I hope that you can see half the stuff I'm talking about. I might be even wrong on that one. That's a 14 also. Whew, she's tight like a tiger. I love rubber mallets. They are your friend. Let's see. These bolts, none of them have been turned. And correct me if my math is wrong. See, these will spin right out of there. Da-da-da. She's out. But 77 to now, what is that? 42 years? I don't know, something like that. So none of these bolts have been spun in all those years. And to Japan's credit, it is pretty amazing that these bikes, number one, stay together, but also come apart as easy as they do. Now, granted, unlike an automobile, these things don't spend time and rust. I mean, salt and that kind of stuff will rust up. But still, I'm talking 42 years. Some of these sometimes fight. We'll find out. Here she comes. The other side. Okay. All of those, every piece of this motorcycle has got to be disassembled and reassembled. So let's see here. With the cauliflower ear. You know, they say that the camera adds 10 pounds. They're fucking wrong. It adds 50 pounds. It's hard to come to terms with being an older guy because your body changes so much. I mean, shit starts sagging. Fucking tits used to be up here, now they're down here. Fucking stomach, all that other stuff. But it was never too bad. But when I had the heart attack, they put me on some kind of meds, and the weight gain was so fast putting on the meds. Whether or not my body couldn't release, purge stuff, I don't know what it is, but I'm trying to mitigate it, eat better, stay active, that kind of stuff. But boy, I'll tell you, my muscle mass has dropped considerably. I don't have to tell you. If you're an old guy, you freaking know, and if you're not, you will know. All right, so all I'm going to do here, sometimes these. Let's see there. I'm not sure if I want to pull it off like that, because of course this whole wiring harness has got to come up out of the way, and the only way to do so is to get this off of here and just leave it through there. I don't want to take this whole bee's nest out of here. They've been sitting in that position for a long time, and I don't like messing with them. Maybe it's laziness, I don't know. So I am just going to, I'll pull the headlight bucket off of there. 14. And wow, yeah, I am getting old. That's a 15. No, that's why. Let's go to the 13. My 14 is over here. The more you watch me do my thing, I guess the more comfortable you get in front of the camera. But I am a complete frickin' moron, so you'll see that about me. I like laughing and goofing, and that's just me. It's what makes life worthwhile, as far as I'm concerned. All of these nuts and bolts will go into a solution of a evapor rust. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but the stuff is the Mac Daddy. Okay, so we have to unplug directionals, which gray to gray, that's easy enough, that's that. And blue, hopefully goes to blue. It does. So that's the right directional, and it should be green to green. If memories serve me right, yep, green to green. And blue to blue. And then other than that, we have a ground, which I think they're all the grounds in here are in one batch, which they are. All of them go to one connector. All of the grounds meet in one place, which is great. It doesn't take long to figure the wiring harnesses out on these, because they are so simple. You're just going to spend a little time with a fluke gauge, and it's pretty simple. Okay. We got one more ground, which I got to find. Okay. So now I should be able to take all the stuff that I've got wrapped around here. I'll end this video shortly. I know it's getting a little long and tedious, but I got to get this done. Okay, how did I do this? I went like that. I went like that. Okay. These are, that's a front brake switch. And all of this will come up through here. It looks scary, but the beauty of the old Japanese bikes, they're very smart when they build them. They are, everything's color coded. And really, what do you have? There's no, get down here, you're looking at my big fat gut again. All you really have on this is coils, front directionals, headlight, rear brake switch, and your rear directionals and brake lights. So that's all on a modern motorcycle. Computers and diodes and sensors. So this is, as scary as it looks, it's pretty easy. I say that now, and when I go to put it back together and I'm doing a video, maybe I'll be pissing and moaning and say, oh, I should have fucking not. Well, I did do a video. before I took it off the motorcycle, I did a small video and some pictures of how it ran along the frame rails, that kind of stuff, which is always smart to do. If I'm not sure if I'm going to remember something in these days, pretty much everything, I'll do little videos and pictures, and that way I save them on my phone. When it comes time to do the reassembly, I can look at it like, oh, okay, yeah. Because you want everything to lay, it'll almost out of memory on the wire. Once you lay it on the bike, it'll almost point out where it wants to lay. Anyway, okay. Well, I've been babbling, and what have I done? I took off the front wheel, fork legs, and the headlight bucket. You know how long has this been going? Let me come over there. 45 minutes. So I apologize for babbling for so long, telling stories, you know, that kind of stuff. But all right, well, I'll end this video, and somehow I got to figure out how to get that back tire off the frame by myself without fighting the damn thing. So okay, thanks guys again. All right.